Hey guys, Garage. I wanted to reshoot this intro video. So, long story short, my D7 that I've had for only like a year and a half crapped out. It catastrophically just failed sitting on the floor, no rhyme or reason. I actually happened to look down at it the moment that it just hit the brakes and it was done. I took it apart. I'm a techie guy. I know how to fix stuff. This thing just died. Like something failed on the main board. It just wouldn't work after that. So luckily, I had a warranty, and I took the unit back. I got a credit, and I actually really like Neato products. Now I know they've had some bad rap in the past because stuff is just coming along slowly compared to some of the other brands. But Neato is a good company, and I know they're replatforming stuff. They made a new app. They're doing all this stuff, so I know they're replatforming. That's a major amount of work, and I know they got the D8 out there kind of as a test mule, to be honest with you, Nito. You know what you're doing. It's like a test mule. And they got to have something out there because the D8 or the D9 and the D10 are just not available yet. And so, anyways, I'm happy to be that test mule because I need a vacuum right now really bad because my D7's dead. So, my main thing was, what did you do, Nito? What did you actually fix any of the crap that was truly wrong with your vacuums, like the side brush, like a lot of these little things that were just stupid in the beginning and they didn't get fixed over the generations? Well, watch this video because Nito engineers did a really good job on the hardware on this vacuum. I'm really excited to say that they nailed it from a hardware perspective, at least at a high level. I don't have a lot of runtime on this vacuum, but it is so much better built internally than the previous gen robots. And anyways, yeah, check the video out. Watch what I find. It was kind of exploratory. I opened it up for the first time as you're seeing it on video. So it's not like I kind of went through it and picked and choose. I'm just pointing out observations of what I found, what the differences are between the old series and new series. And then I just got the thing and we go through the internals on it and talk about some of the changes there. But it is a 100% different vacuum. This is not a D7 wannabe. It's not an old gen. I get it why they had to do a completely new app. Have worked on teams like this. I work in hardware and software stuff. I understand what goes on behind the scenes, and I understand it looks like you're replatforming all kinds of stuff, and now it's a whole new ball game. I think you're doing the right things. If the software follows, good job on the hardware. So let's take a look. All right, so kind of doing this one-handed. So the vacuum itself is about a ½ inch shorter than the D7 was, so it can get under a little bit tighter places. So that's a pro. It's also 1.5 inch less depth to it, so it's a little bit shorter lengthwise. That's another bonus. So I took a look here at the filter assembly. This is one thing I think this was absolutely stupid. The Neato people did. They made this huge winged enclosure thing where this whole top lid is coming off. Well, when you try to empty this in a trash can, and I already went to fit it in there, it's kind of hard to get the whole thing in the trash can. You got to angle it right to empty it. Once you take the filter out and you dump it out, this is just too dang freaking big. The actual pattern for the old one is still there. That's actually kind of the size when you'd lift out the old dustbin. That was like the size of it, was just like this area. Now I've got this big old huge stupid thing that I got to try to empty and I got to take off and haul around. So I think that was really dumb. They should have just kept the plastic moldings in the side, but I know they have to look different with the new product, but whatever. That's my rant on that. Filter wise, I did confirm the old filters do work. The new filters are a little bit nicer. They have a rubber seal that may cut down on some dust and allergens and things like that. So this seems to be a little bit better filter, a little bit better design, a little bit better sealing design. But if you have a whole ton of filters like I do from your old Neato and you did upgrade, then the old ones are going to at least clip into the dustbin, which is the same size as previous models. All right, so let me set that aside. And again, I'm just going through things I noticed on the outside before I tear into this and we start tearing this thing down. LiDAR dish is nice, and it's even lower profile than before. I've noticed that. So we got our power button and stuff back here. The bumper feels the same, but we'll get into what the bumper switches look like and how that looks. Internals look identical. I mean, from this perspective, the seal and all this all looks familiar. Moving around to the back, that looks familiar. The whole port and exhaust port for the that looks, like I said, just looks completely familiar. One reviewer online noted that this has about 3 CFM more flow than the previous model, so it may have been a fan upgrade. I'm not really sure. It looks like visually the fan blades are a little bit different color. Maybe that contributes to a little more flow. I'm not sure. We do have an additional drop-off sensor, so we have an additional sensor in the back. I noticed that the D7 or any previous models didn't have it. I did notice our wheels in the back. These were really prone to getting dirt and dust and crap clogged in them. And these are a different material for one. They feel different. They're almost like a rubber. And they'll pop out. You can see the two pins on the side. So you can actually pop the wheels out to clean. So that's new. I noticed the leg assemblies. These are not the same leg assemblies that the D7 or previous model had. This is a new assembly. So this has changed, which is interesting. The wheels are the same, the rubber's the same, but the actual gear mechanism and drive has changed. So they did change this for a reason, probably for an improvement. Up here, this all looks pretty much the same, but these little mini rollers for when it's actually fully set down, these seem a little bit bigger, but I could be off on that, but they feel like it. Our side brush is the same, and when I tear this thing down, I haven't torn it down ahead of time. I'm really hoping they change the side brush motor design and at least fix the dang belt, because we all know that side brush belt in there sucks and it goes out easily. The belt arrived actually looking used, or I mean the brush arrived looking used. It's kind of all splayed out like it'd been spun for a while. So that was a little bit interesting. Usually the little brooms on it or brushes stick straight out. So, all right, so looking this over, this part, the actual roller assembly. So previously, only the D7 got the straight brush assembly. All the other ones had the ones that were like kind of angled, like in a wave. This is different. So it looks the same length, but it looks like maybe they have a hair guard here. I'm not sure what this orange thing is doing, this big round object. I think that may be a hair guard to prevent more hair from getting up into the motor assembly, but that's a difference. So that's something a little bit new, and I know it's a different part number. So let's go ahead and start snapping this open. This piece actually feels like the same mold, maybe slightly different plastic. Again, hard to tell. My D7's gone. It went back in under the warranty as part of an exchange. I had an extended warranty through a company, and so that's how I got this new one. But that looks the same, maybe a little bit different plastic. Again, oops. Brush, the only difference I really see is that end assembly, so that's different. Now that part, from memory, looks identical, the motor drive output, so I'm not even sure if the other brush is compatible. With the filters being compatible, it wouldn't surprise me. But those, just looking at this thing, I mean, the channels seem the same. A lot of this stuff seems the same. The plastic does look and feel, again, I'm going off memory, a little bit different, like it may be a little more slick. So maybe it's going to be prone to less buildup, maybe in all the areas, but I really don't know until I get some time on it. So we're going to be definitely running it because my house has been without a Botvac for a week, and I've got cats and dogs and kids and all kinds of dirty creatures in the house, and it needs a good vacuuming, so I can't wait to put this to use. But yeah, so give me a moment. I'm going to stop the camera and we'll roll in a minute. I'm going to pop the battery tray. We're going to take a look at the battery and see if it's possible to fit a bigger battery, since this has quite a significant less runtime than the D7, but it does have a much faster recharge time, so maybe that won't matter. But yeah, so let me get the battery tray open, and then we're going to actually start the teardown of this guy and look at the guts and see what they did different inside. Catch you in a minute. All right, let's start tearing this guy down. So we're going to start off moving the battery compartment. Okay, so battery compartment. Well, this is all new. So that is a much smaller battery compartment than the previous, and it looks like it. I'm not sure if it'll only fit that battery, but that's kind of interesting. So it'll be neat to see if we can retrofit the newer batteries off the D9 or D10 with longer runtime into this little guy. This whole connector setup, 3 pieces. That's kind of chintzy and weird. The old one actually had a connector that plugged directly in, so I don't know what kind of intermediate test run stuff they're doing here, but that's rather interesting. Maybe the bigger batteries have to plug in directly or something. I really don't know. We won't see the D9 or D10 until like December. So, but yeah, that's odd. Didn't expect that. Oh, wow. Okay, so we got that intermediate adapter connector. All right, and then I'm kind of looking further into this. And as you guys can tell, I'm actually doing this with you guys. So this is the first time I'm looking at it too. All right, so I'm looking down in here, and this plug is soldered directly to a circuit board. I can see a blue PCB down in there. So this little plug, instead of being mounted hard on a circuit board, is direct soldered. So we have like a little pigtail connector for the battery. I don't know. That's strange, but that's different. Okay. I've got a T10. It's a security T10 Torx. That's what lets me take a Neato apart. Now in the video description, I've got this tool set in there. So if you want to, or have a need to also take a Neato apart or service your equipment, get this little tool set. So let's start with the teardown. So I'm gonna pop off the front. And normally on the older vacuums, yeah, just like the older vacuums, you can kind of pull the front edging off. And that gets our bumper guard off. So that's just a different mold, but it's the same thing. The switches feel the same. I don't know if they are, but they look and kind of feel the same. They're on their own little daughter boards. Actually, they're different daughter boards. Yeah, they're a little bit different, so that's kind of interesting. All right. Let's go ahead and just start pulling these security screws out. And let's see what makes this tick. So we have 2 in the middle. Usually there was 2 in the front, but I only had 1. Ah, there we go. That's what I'm seeing. The lovely warranty void if removed sticker. And, well, Neato, sorry, but I'm taking a look at the guts of your Botvac because, oh, it's a really, one of those stickers that just shatters. Don't really care. We are going to open you up and we are going to take a look and see what's going on under the hood, because unless you really fixed your side brush problem, your belt problem, we're going to have problems with this vacuum. It's just going to happen, so I hope you fix it, or there's going to be a lot of ticked off owners that you're doing that little stupid thing. Okay, so let's see here. I've got also the 2 in the back. Okay, and then we usually had 2 on the top, which I don't see. There was usually, I was thinking they were up here, but maybe I'm wrong. Oh, they're there. They're on the side. Never mind. Sitting down, so I'm not seeing it. Okay, so the same number of screws get this bot apart. Okay, what do we got here? I feel like I got something else holding it a little bit back. What do I got? Oh, there we go. I did miss a couple screws. Forgot about these guys. So that brings the total screw count to... Oh, I can't get on this one. There it is. Let's see, what do we got? Definitely the same as before. So 2, 4, 6, 8. We got 10 screws total. So 10 little T10 Torx bits. All right, so lid's coming up. Yeah, I just feel like I'm stuck on something, even with those screws out. I feel like I'm stuck. Usually on the older D series, you just, once those screws are out, you push these 2 clips and the thing would just pop right up. No big deal. But this guy is holding on for some reason. I do see a new USB-C connector inside here. They did have a USB port in there previously for troubleshooting and doing other things, but that's a USB-C, so that's a little bit new, just in case anybody cares. I think there it is. Right here and right here, we've got 2 little wings in there that look like they're latches that snap on, and that's kind of what it feels like I'm battling. So you may not be able to see this on camera. I'm going to grab a small flat blade and see if I can get those open. I'm already irritated because I know I'm going to have to open this back to service it, and it's hard to take apart already, and I don't like that. Oof, there it goes. All right. So looking up inside here right away, definitely different electronics. I'm going to tell you that right now. This is different, a lot different than previous Neato Vacs, which is not a bad thing. All right, so we've got all the circuitry for the power switches and stuff like that are on a little daughter card, including this front bumper switch. And it looks like I'm just going to unplug these. There we go. And my lid can come out. So there we go. So it took a little bit more than I expected to get that off. So the circuit board, if you guys have taken these apart, this is all brand new. It usually was two-piece. You had a main board here. You had a little board to the side. This is our side brush motor. I'm really curious if they actually improved that. That's going to be a big one. We got some cable inductors, noise reduction, or ferrites. I mean, wiring is kind of routed the same way. We don't have a ribbon cable going to the back anymore, so they got rid of the ribbon cable. The LiDAR dish, it appears the same, but it's molded a little different. So maybe they changed some stuff up in that. I'm not seeing, there used to be a circuit board sitting right here, and another circuit board, and a lot of that's gone away. So honestly, what I'm seeing here, everything inside this D8 that I'm looking at, except for this motor for the most part, all of this looks revised. All of it. It looks like they went back to the drawing board and they started over. This is all new stuff. I wanted to see that. I was so afraid I was going to open this up and go, hey, this is the same crap that they, we've had forever, for years and years and years and years. But no, this is all different. I see a couple of screws here to get this main board out. Again, lots of wiring going all over the place, but no ribbon cable, which I never liked the ribbon cable. We even have a wire channel over here now. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. That's what you're going to get into. And more than likely, the D9 and D10 are going to follow this exact path. It's all going to look the same inside. But we'll know more once the D10 or D9 come out. May or may not buy that one. We'll see. Let me get this motor out. Let's take a look at the side brush motor and see if they've improved it. Gosh, I hope they did. It was such crap before. So, all right. So we had one screw back here. Another security Torx. Oh, here we go. There's another security bit here. And that circuit board was bolted in. So that is like the old one. Little Hall effect sensor or something there to determine the motor's movement. I think there was, yeah, there is one more. We got to take out the main board or at least move it to get to it. So should have my ESD strap on, but oh well. I'm just excited. I want to look inside this vacuum. Let's see, we got anything else hiding? Not seeing it. Got a little antenna wire coming around. What is holding you on? Something's holding this board down, this main board, really good. It's probably a screw hiding. Ah, there we go. I had one little clip in the back, and then the board popped up. So we'll be able to shuffle this board, theoretically, out of the way just a little bit. Theoretically. Oh wow, the board actually inserts into the plastic. Okay. So now we can get to this side brush motor screw. And see if we can get this guy out. Holy cow, they did it. They fixed it. They fixed the side brush. I am completely surprised they actually did it. So this on a hardware level is awesome. That feels like a gear drive. I'm not going to guess. We're going to take it apart. So the side brush motor feels like a gear drive now. That feels like meshed gear. Cool. I get excited over the stupidest little things, but that's like a big thing because the side brush was such garbage before. Let me see if I got the right Torx for that. I don't. But I'm so curious on what's inside this guy. Let me see what I got here. Those are some tiny, tiny, tiny Torx bits. I may have the right. No. No. I don't think I got it, but that's not... Oh, I can see it. I don't even have to take it apart. There's a little tiny window right here. And I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but you can see the gear drive right there. You can see the teeth on the gear up inside. Cool. That's cool. All right, so what does the bottom of this PCB look like? Let's take a peek. Oh, looks like we have... The antenna is actually taped up to the front, so it's probably got a lot better Wi-Fi antenna. Well, that's the bottom of the PCB, if you're wondering. And other than that, LiDAR is still on a belt. That was always a really reliable belt. I don't think I can't even recall replacing a LiDAR belt. They were always good. Nice and smooth, like always. Blower motor is down here. I'm not really seeing any other reason for me right now to tear this down further. I mean, I guess I could pop off the LiDAR dish for you guys so you can kind of take a peek at what we got there. I mean, while I'm in here, right, doing a video, you might as well take a look. But hey, guys, Neato changed a lot of stuff. They are doing the right things. Like the crap that was commonly junk, like the rear wheels, like the belt, the ribbon cable. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of stuff here that makes sense. Again, they redesigned the gear drives and the wheels. These were always reliable for me, but they redesigned it. That's cool. That means their engineers are listening and they're paying attention and they're, you know, doing something and paying attention like I'm not, because I just took out different screws. Let's just take this out. Let's take it all apart. All right. It's definitely a different circuit board. I don't remember the LiDAR board looking like that. Have to reference old videos, but that looks... Yeah, it definitely wasn't like this. The motor, everything is in one little module. So that feels like a nice little module piece. Like everything is right there. There used to be like a separate daughter card that hung out the side, and it just was not as nice as that. There we go. Take that off, and boom, there's your blower motor. That's easy to access. So when you run over freaking a bunch of water or cat pee, because that never happens, you can get to the blower motor to clean it out. So yeah. Cats. Okay, cool. That's about as far as I'm going to tear it down. There's really no need to go further. I'm excited about that. Right now, I mean, I don't know. The software could be not as good because it's new and it looks like they've replatformed the whole thing. But from a hardware perspective, we're in a lot better shape. So if you're going to buy a Neato, or you're looking at doing future Neato products or whatever, or you're planning a D9 or D10, I understand a lot of the things that people are complaining about. I mean, I totally get it that Neato, they're not doing the little emptying bin, but it's kind of hard in this design. But it's also, Neato has twice the capacity of almost everybody else. It's like a 700 milliliter bin. It's a big bin. You got lots of animals, cats, dogs, kids, you know, whatever. That bin space comes in handy because it runs, and I mean, you get a lot more stuff in it, and especially cat and dog hair. That's always a freaking mess. And that's what I have. Got a long-haired shepherd, and he's a mess. So I like Neato for that aspect. I like it for the D shape. I like it because the brush is bigger. Yeah, they've had some problems. I mean, I got 2.7 years out of a VAC, my D5. I think it was 2.7 years. I'm going off memory. And that thing just got used every day, and the heck beat out of it. That made me a Neato fan, that D5. Even though the software wasn't the greatest, if I just pushed the button and told it to vacuum, that's what it did, and that's what I want. My D7 was an absolute disappointment. I mean, the room feature, the vacuum per room didn't work well, or at all most of the time. But if I just pushed the button and told it to vacuum and it would do the house, that's what I wanted. It did that. That was cool. Um, I'm hoping now that they've replatformed this thing. I mean, like I said, the apps aren't even compatible. It's different. The main board's different. I'm sure the processor's different. The Wi-Fi module, all that stuff is different. It looks like a much less complicated main board. That actually looks like a really simplified main board. It looks like they've done a much better job and invested their time in electronics. And I know the D9 and D10 are not out yet. And I'm thinking they are just working their butts off on refining everything. I think it's a software refining deal. They realize they got competition from Roborock. They got competition from a million little people and companies that are doing this. They're doing robot vacuums. And I honestly think from a hardware perspective, they really did a lot. Other than that cover for the bin that I can't stand, that was stupid doing that big long cover. Other than that, they've really improved it. Half-inch shorter, 1.5 inch, half-inch shorter, 1.5 inch less length. I mean, those are big improvements. Same size dustbin, looks like better electronics, easy to service. Besides that stupid warranty void sticker, and yeah, I think I'm gonna like this if the software is working good. So I'll do a follow-up review in a few weeks, see how the software's going, see how the app's going, and I hope that helps some of you guys to see Neato did address some of the crap. And I'm sorry I've been ranting for a long time, but I think it warrants it because this is all pretty new stuff. So good job, Neato, on getting those hardware components fixed. Hardware is what I appreciate, and now make sure you get your software going to follow it. So I will catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.